I think the weirdest aspect that we'll definitely dive into is just the overt amount of adults hitting on and sexualizing children throughout this entire film. So if you don't want to hear about that,
yes. And it's like they're not trying to say anything about it. It's just like something that is in the movie that they're like, oh, you crazy teachers trying to me, like
constantly.
Oh my god,
there's a whole cast of adult men who the entire movie, and it's not explained, and we'll get into specific instances, but throughout the entire movie there's just a whole cast of adult men who are constantly trying to bone our main female character Paula, who is a high school student.
Yes.
And this does not, if you're waiting for the twist where it's like, oh, this has like a great point to it, there is no point to it. They just want to sleep with her.
Yes.
Paula walks into like an art class, and the either the art teacher or the principal, I can't remember, is like the art teacher is like, you need, like, you're gonna model, like you're gonna strip down right now, like get half naked, and you're gonna model for this class.
And so she strips down to like a bathing suit, I guess.
Yeah, like a leotard thing.
They're in high school, so they don't do a nude scene with an underage girl. But the art teacher definitely like is just staring her down, makes her bend over in the class. It's so creepy, and it's not. Again, like we were talking about earlier, it's not addressed in any way. He gets mad at Brian for hiding in the corner of the room, like looking at her, when he's just doing the same thing right in front of him.
So besides the creepy art teacher, who I think at this point in the movie, I'm like, okay, he's the only pedophile in the school. Like he's the only perv.
Yep.
No, principal asks.
Next scene,
the principal asks Paula to stop by his office, and then has left something on the floor, her new cheerleading uniform. He's left it on the floor for her to bend over and pick up so that he can look up her skirt.
And
which he does twice.
And we do, as the viewer.
As the viewer, they just show right up her skirt.
Yeah.
Now, she's wearing underwear, but it's like, ugh.
Yeah. And to your point earlier, like we were talking about Euphoria, it's like you can do themes of sexuality in media, right?
Yeah.
But this isn't a theme. It's just literally like pervs.
So Dwight is playing basketball. In the stands is Paula and her friend, who's another cheerleader, cheering together for the basketball team. And so the friend just decides, for whatever reason, that she's going to strip off her underwear and
give the children in the bleachers something to look at.
That's what she says. She's like, let's give them something to talk about or whatever. And starts like dancing and basically flashing the entire crowd of parents and children with her nudity.
Yep. But no one does anything. They're just like, oh my God.
Like no one reacts. Like
they're literally like 2 feet away from her. Like, oh yeah.
No one just goes, clothe that child. Like no one says it.
Exactly.
All the dads are just like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's a different time, brother. It's
different time.
They cut to the principal, who clearly loves it. Like he's watching his student is like displaying her nudity to the crowd, and the principal, just to drill home that he's an absolute creep, is like loving it.
Yeah.
Again, spoiler alert, this doesn't end up having anything to do with the plot.
He's not even one of the people killed.
No. He's a needless character who's also needlessly interested in teenage girls.
Yeah. Like if you want to hammer home the point that the killer cares about Paula, like have him kill off the people that are like horny towards her.
Which I thought that's how it was going to go, because
like,
he doesn't
be no one left in the school. But you know.
Every male in a 50-mile radius would be dead. But I mean, he does that with the art teacher, though. When the art teacher is the first kill,
right? And
the art teacher was kind of pervy towards Paula, and Brian is like, or the killer. We don't know it's Brian yet.
Well, yes. To your point, Brian and Dwight have a problem with it, so it could be either of them.
Yeah.
So you keep that theme, but instead it's just like more random.
More random guys wanting to get it on with her.
But she runs into the math teacher.
The math teacher is somehow in the school again, adding to the confusion of what time of day it is. The school is locked, but the teacher's there, and the teacher drops another pervy line.
Banger, dude.
He walks out, he sees Paula's in the school by herself, and he says,
"Oh, Paula, this is a dangerous place for a pretty girl like you."
Dwight.
At school?
And why did he say that?
Why?
He doesn't know the killer's there.
He doesn't know the killer's there, and the implication is that he's about to like hurt her. This is a dangerous place for a pretty girl like you.
Yeah, someone like me might try to have sex with you.
A child. Yo, this is wild. Everyone in this movie is so creepy to Paula. And the janitor, this minor character, enters the auto shop.
Jeff Goldblum knockoff.
And he says,
What is this? Survival class?
Seeing a room full of dead children.
That's so true. What the hell?
What is this, survival class? Like, bro, you're not fazed at all by the dead bodies around you. And then just to like drill the point home that everyone in this movie is a pedophile. Like everyone top to bottom is a pedophile. The janitor, who's been a minor character the whole movie, watches Paula walk past him, stares at her butt and says,
I won't mind cleaning up after you. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.